Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is Fun Stuff Friday and my camera is too top heavy, so it's starting to shift. My husband put a light on it and it makes it really heavy, so I'm going to actually have to take that off today, I think. So, Fun Stuff Friday. Today we have no fun stuff because it is July, and I have been really good. I've behaved myself, and I haven't bought a single thing. So, of course, that makes, Fun Stuff Friday kind of boring. But what I'm doing for the month of July is I'm bringing out some of my old stuff that I don't use because either I didn't like it at the time or I liked it but not as much as the new stuff, or because I didn't want to use it all up. So yesterday during All Things Thursday, we colored this one here with the Bruynzeel Student grade. So I also have the Bruynzeel Design set of pencils. So this is the student grade here. And these ones come in the funky little tin with the Volkswagen on it. They have no name, they have no number. They they're just there. They're not horrible. They are harder than I prefer, if that makes sense. But they're not terrible, terrible pencils. I found yesterday that they layer really, really nicely. But like I said, they're a harder pencil, and when I first bought them, I got frustrated with them really fast because I didn't know how to layer. So if you're a new colorist and you're new to the colored pencil thing and you don't know how to layer, but you want to put color on the paper, do not buy the Bruynzeel colored pencils that are in the little tin with the Volkswagen bug on it. I got so frustrated with these when I first started coloring, when I first bought them, that I put them away, never to touch them again. This was the first thing I'd colored with them since I put them away. I would press too hard on them and break the tips, trying to get the color out of them. And if I wasn't doing that, I was tearing through the paper because I was pressing too hard trying to get the color out, which would kill the paper. And of course, you can't layer on top of paper that doesn't have any tooth. I was also using them on just plain printer paper. So these sharp pencils, because I like to have them at a really good sharp, would cut right through that paper. So my suggestion to anybody that is new to coloring is, if you do purchase this set of pencils, be careful with them. Don't be heavy-handed with them, and put in light layer upon light layer upon light layer and build that color up. This is not something that comes naturally to you. It didn't to me. It does to some people, but to me it did not come naturally at all. I had to learn to lighten up my touch, to just continually add the layers to get the color I wanted without manhandling the pencils. That being said, I'm not saying that these are horrible pencils because they did beautifully yesterday. I'm just saying when I first got them, they frustrated me, and they angered me to a point where I stuck them back in a box and stuck them away. They're not even from this box, but I had other pencils that I was sticking away as well. Not because I didn't like them, but because I didn't use them. So that is the Bruynzeel Student grade. Last year, my husband bought me the Bruynzeel Studio grade, which comes in these wonderful little drawers. It comes with a box, and in the box is 4 wonderful little drawers. And the colors for these, let's see, move that over, are very nice. They laid down beautifully. They colored really well. I didn't have to worry about them, cutting through the paper. The one thing I did notice about them is they're soft. And if you press too hard on them, you're going to go through your pencil really fast, as I found out with the red. So I will show you these. Now this is tray number 4. So in tray number 4, I've got the browns and the blacks and that sort of thing. And I'm going to switch it over here to the close-up. And the design series has Bruynzeel Design and then color and then the number here. So it has a color number, which makes it a lot easier to write down and keep track of your colors. It's made in Holland and that sort of thing. So the 8805 is the product code or product number for the design series. On the back of the design series, you can also find your color list. I do believe it's on the back. When you get it, there is an insert that tells you what colors each pencil are. Like, as you can see, I have colors and names. I do apologize. 1 second. Sorry about that. Do apologize. It was a potential spam. So it starts out with some light peach, light flesh colors, a flesh color, some candy pink, some brown pink. So that's actually a really good gray pink, which is lovely. Dark rose, magenta, carmine, crimson, vermilion, deep red, orange, permanent orange, light orange, deep yellow, Naples yellow, lemon yellow, and then light lemon yellow, light green, green, dark green, emerald green, ice green, Smyrna blue, light ultramarine, light blue, cobalt blue, ultramarine, Prussian blue, dark violet. So it's got a really good amount of blues. Blue violet, mauve, red violet, white, gray, light gray, cold gray, mid brown gray, dark gray, black, umber, mid brown, dark brown, Havana brown, burnt ochre, sienna, sanguine, yellow ochre, and olive green. And that's what's in the 4 trays. Now I'm going to show you something that has happened, and this is what I mean by if you try to manhandle them. I didn't know how to use them when I first started, and ended up going through almost the entire pencil trying to use it. Obviously, one of my favorite colors is red, and yeah, I depleted that one. But that being said, we're going to color with them today. So I'm going to take this and we're going to compare it to the previous one we did. So we did this one yesterday with the student grade. So we're going to do this one with these pencils here, and we're going to compare how they stand up against each other. So I'm going to grab the light flesh. I think it might be the best one. And I'm going to give it a sharpen. I'm always terrified to sharpen these because I have broken the leads on so many of them. Another one of the things that I have found with these pencils is they are really dusty. So as you can see, just by sharpening it, I've gotten dust all over. So when you color with them, if you press hard at all, you're going to get quite a bit of dust. These are a lot softer than the student grade. They're also a lot more pigmented, and I do believe these are light fast. So you don't have to put down as many layers to get the colors you want. However, the trade-off for that is a softer pencil that does disintegrate quite easily if you put too much pressure on it. So make sure, once again, you do your layers. Layer, layer, layer. There are some pencils that smush really, really well without any problems, such as the Prismacolors. Wax-based pencils smush a lot better than oil-based pencils. And I do believe these are an oil-based pencil. I will have to look that up, and I will let you know in the About section or the description below. I do apologize. I'm seeming to be having a bit of a hard time breathing today. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. It's really annoying though. Alright. So I'm just filling in the areas of the card that I want that peachy orange to be. And then we'll finish this part up, and then we will see how well they blend together. So if you do purchase the lower grade set, the student grade set, if it can be used in conjunction with the design set. Now this is something that I want to know particularly for myself, but also want to be able to give you guys information on. I want to know if they work really well together, because sometimes getting into those deeper areas can be difficult with the design series. They do have a thicker core. Well, even though you can sharpen them into a very sharp point, sometimes you just don't want to do that. Especially with how expensive these are. The design series is quite a bit more expensive than the student grade. And I think that's why I ended up buying the student grade, because the design series was so much more expensive. Now I need an orange-red color. So I need sanguine. This one I haven't used a whole lot. And that's another thing as you go along, is you slowly learn what colors you can use to enhance or blend with. So now I'm just putting this along the edges here. And I'll be going over these with a yellow. So typically what you'll want to do is try to, with different pencils, figure out which works best, dark to light or light to dark. Some pencils work really well dark to light. Some pencils do not. Some pencils are so pigmented in their colors that when you go over a dark color with a light color, that light color takes over that dark color and it disappears. So be very careful and play with your pencils a bit. Go from light to dark on your swatch sheet or your, you know, your test page, and then go from dark to light and see which one works best for that type of pencil. Alright, now we're going to take this one here, which is number 25, and that's lemon yellow. Just going to sharpen it up here. And after I put on the lemon yellow, I will go through and re-add some of that peachy orange color just to blend in that red orange. Make sure you turn your pencil as you're coloring, otherwise you're going to end up with one side that's flat. Which, if you enjoy that sort of thing, you can just not turn your pencil. But if you want to maintain that tip, that sharp tip, turn your pencil and you'll be able to maintain that. Not sure I like the way that these are blending. Doesn't seem to be moving that orange around at all, which is a little strange. Alright, so let's take that. Just going to feather that out a little bit so that it's not such a harsh line. I don't like hard lines. And I was expecting the yellow to move it around a little bit, but it doesn't seem to be moving it at all, which is interesting. So I'm just gently going over top of the yellow, getting rid of that hard line. And then we'll take the yellow again and try to move it around. It just doesn't seem to move. That's interesting. Wonder if it will with the blender pencil. That's very, very interesting. So I'm going to grab my Prisma blender here. Let's give this a try. So I was able to blend it out just a little bit. quite as much as I would like to see it blend out, but at least it moved slightly. So let's try the Caran dash if I can find it. Get over here. It says no, it's hiding. Oh, for goodness sakes, where did it? I'm chasing it all the way around there. So this is the Caran dash blender stick. And it seems to be lifting it up more than it's really blending it in. That's very interesting. I wonder if the Bruynzeel brand has their own blender. Well, it's at least moving the yellow around quite a bit, filling in those spaces that are left, which is interesting. Okay, so let's take our pinky orange color again. Go in. Just going to add a little bit more of this orange. Sanguine. It just seems to require so much more work than I'm used to, which is interesting. They are really soft though, and once you get them moving, they seem to blend okay. I haven't played with these in a while. I've had them for over a year, and I think I've colored 3 or 4 pictures with them. But I have so many different sets of pencils, I could use a different set of pencil every week and still not use up all my pencils. So I think that's as blended as we're going to get on that, which is fine. It's not horrible. Just going to add a little bit more yellow here. Make sure I get it to the edges. There we go. Alright. Trying to make sure I put these all back in their rightful boxes and their rightful spots so I don't lose where they go. Not so hard, not so difficult in putting them all in the right spot with them having numbers. I can definitely follow my swatch sheet to put them away. Now this one here is a number 60, which is the lightest green, I do believe, in the set. Yeah. So I'll have to add some yellow to it to get to the same tones as previous greens. Right. So I'm just going to do the ribbing here. I'm going to turn you upside down for a second. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to take that lemon yellow and we're going to add it to this green and see if we can change the color of the green. Which I think it changed it a little bit. Definitely not as much as the student grade did, but it still changes it quite a bit, I think. Gives it more yellow, a brighter green color. Okay, and then we're going to do the purples. So we need to start with this one, I do believe. No. We need to start with the blue greens. So we need to start with this one. Which is a lovely teal color. Hopefully you guys can see it. So this one is number 62 if you have the Bruynzeel Design pencils. Okay. So there's that one. Now I need a blue to go into it, so I think I need this one, which is number 51, light blue. Actually, maybe that cobalt blue would be better. Yeah, let's use this one. So this one is number 55, cobalt blue. And I'm just going to go around the edge just to darken that up a little bit. It's very interesting how different pencils from, or the same brand of pencil can feel so different than a previous set, or a lower grade set, or a higher grade set. It's just interesting how they can feel like completely different brands. Now I'm just going to go in with this one here, which is number 68, and that's ice green. And I'm not going to sharpen this one. I'm just going to leave it dull so that I can get that little bit of movement from the other colors. Do apologize. It seems my child has decided that it needs to make noise and caffeine. Okay, so now we're going to start with the purples. So we need a pinky purple. So I think number 59. And as you can see with this one here, there's a lot of them that go very chunky like that. They just seem to shatter or fall apart. And hopefully I can sharpen past it without any difficulties. So, and it's just really, really dusty. So if I put any pressure on this at all, it's just going to completely fall apart. And if I remember correctly, that's what happened to my red as well. Just trying to get a good coverage without having the pencil fall apart. So I also don't want it too dark, but I want it dark enough that you can see the purples in it. Okay, so now we're going to grab this one here, which is a little bit more of a blue purple instead of a red purple. It does have the reds in it, but it's got more of a lighter tone. Alright, we're going to dust that off. And we're going to take the Caran d'Ache blender here, and I'm just going to very gently blend that to see if we can get some movement out of it. It's actually not too bad. Alright, now we're going to do the same thing for the heel and the toe. Do the edging. I'm going to feather it in a little bit so that that purple has something to grab hold of. So it has something to blend into. Same with at the toe. I'm going to make sure that I leave some tooth there for that blue. Alright. Now we're going to take that cobalt blue again. And we're going to darken that area. There we go. And then we'll take this one again and blend it in a little bit. And then we'll take the red, violet, purpley color after we take the light ice green color. Now I'm just extending that in. Giving that red violet a little bit of something to grab hold of. Alright. So far my experience between the two is that this one here was a little bit easier to blend, believe it or not. They're both a layering pencil, so if you don't layer them, you will find that you're not getting the coloration that you want. One is really, really hard, one is really, really soft, so either which one, you're not going to want to press too hard on them. I wouldn't say these are really, really soft, but they're soft enough that if you press too hard, they're going to crumble, which is definitely not something we want to see our pencils do. So just going to go over this one more time with the lighter cobalt blue color. Make sure that I get all those edges. Alright, now once again with the red violet. And once again, just remember very, very light pressure and build that color up, otherwise it's not going to have a lot of movement. Now I'm not finding that it's mixing well with the other colors, so the blendability seems to be lacking with this paper and these colors. I don't know if it's particularly with the set. This one here did blend a lot nicer. Alrighty, I'm just going to go over that one more time. Make sure that we filled that all in. Alright. Let's put my pencils back in their spots. And then we'll take the blender pencil and we'll just blend that all together. So in comparison, this one here, it definitely has the brightest color. However, the blendability seems to be very lacking. I'm still having hard lines there. Let's see if I can get some of that hard line out with the Prisma blender, because I wasn't able to with the Caran d'Ache. They just don't seem to move a whole lot, even with themselves, and that sort of thing. I'm just going to actually grab the white out of the student grade, and I'm going to see how much movement it gives it. Not a whole lot. So I wanted to make sure whether or not the do apologize. Seems there's somebody at my door. But I wanted to make sure that Shyla, stop it. That's enough. I do apologize. Oh, she is just being fussy today. I do. Okay, sorry about that. It seems I have Happy Mail. Happy Mail. My dog is barking all over the place. They continue to knock on my door. So, I'm going to open this because I don't know exactly what it is. It is from Russia. So let's see. Let's see what it is. What is it? What is it? I think I might know, but I'm not positive. Oh, it's pretty. Let's see. Okay. It's very, very pretty. It's very nicely wrapped. It has no information in there. It's got a nice little wrapping. It feels like a book. But let's see. Alright. So I don't know who sent me Happy Mail, or if it's something I purchased, or what. But the company wrapped it very, 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 very prettily. Such a pretty ribbon. I'm going to keep that ribbon. Alright, now, let's see. I don't want to rip it. I don't know. There it goes. Okay. That's what I thought it was. Yay! I ordered this book a long time ago. Animal Kingdoms, Fabrica Fantasy. That's what I thought it was, but I wasn't positive. And she wraps things so pretty. Absolutely wonderful. Aww. I've been waiting for this book. I have the PDF, but I bought the PDF and the physical copy to help her with her fundraising. I just love her work. And it was all wrapped up in cellophane. And oh, I'm so excited. It's very pretty. Open! Happy Mail, Happy Mail. See, we didn't have Happy Mail yesterday, but a little bit today. Oh, let's tip you up here a little bit so you can see what's going on. So Mr. Postman brought us something pretty to look at. Absolutely wonderful. And of course it's got this wonderful protective plastic here. And of course all of her pages are a nice heavy cardstock. Very, very smooth. Very smooth cardstock. I just love them. I love the pictures in this book. But I like the pictures in all her books. I don't get to color them nearly enough. But she is such a wonderful artist. I think that's a really nice one. Little bunnies. She's got bunny ears. And turtles. Turtle. Turtle, turtle. Pick, whack. She's got turtles. And a little fox. Just going to do a very quick flip through. I'll do a proper one later. And this one looks like a stag sprite. This one looks like a crane. And I've colored this one. You may recognize this one because because I've colored her. The butterfly maiden. Tree fellow. He's got all different leaves all around him in his hair. And then we have a rose sprite. And the serpentine. Oh, here, turn this. So, yeah, there we go. That gives you a better view of it. And then this one, the little monkey girl. She's so cute. And then we've got a little bear girl, little bear woman. She's got bears and berries. I think that's the last one. Yeah. So, absolutely wonderful, wonderful book that I just got in the Happy Mail. So you guys got to see Happy Mail opening. Yay! And I will do a proper flip through of that. And usually she feels like there's something. Oh, maybe not. She usually sends a little note card with it, but I don't see one, so I don't know. It's all good. All right, back to what we were doing. So back over to the close-up camera, and I just want to see if I can move some of this pigment with just the student grade white. And it doesn't seem to be moving at all. I was able to dull it down a little bit with the student grade white, but it's not moving. So let's try with the design white. So it's not blending even with its own pencil as much as you would expect it to. So keep that in mind. They don't blend as well as other artist grade pencils do. This one feels scratchy. Maybe it's just the pencil that's on there already building up under it. But yeah, it doesn't seem to blend, and this white is not giving any highlights or anything like that either. So not a big deal, but a lot you learn a lot as you go along. And what I'm learning from this set right now is, even though they are a wonderful set when you're using them, they're not as blendable as you would expect them to be, which is a little odd to me. I'm not sure if it's because my house is cold right now or what's going on with them, but they're definitely not as blendable as I remember them being. So I'm going to do a couple of experiments here. First of all, let's grab this one. No, maybe not that one, this one. So I'm going to grab a piece of paper that I've been fiddling with, and we're going to do a couple of tests. As you can see, I've got test stuff all over this. And we're going to do a couple of tests on whether or not the white has any amount of color in it that stands out on the tan paper. And that one seems to do okay, but there seems to be something scratchy in it, which is, yeah. So we've got the artist white and the student white. And I've put down about the same amount. And the student white seems to stand out. Grab the wrong one. See, there's something scratchy in it. That's going to drive me crazy. There we go. That's about the same amount. And I think both of them stand out pretty good on the paper here. I'm just going to keep on adding until the paper won't take it anymore and see how it looks. That's not too bad. I think with the feel of that, that's as much as the paper is going to take. So as you can see, the white does show up pretty good for both sets on this tan tone paper. So if I was to go over here, I could put in some highlights on the basket, potentially. Okay, so that's with the student grade. And this is the artist grade. And I'm having to press a little harder with the artist grade to get the white to show. But it does show a little bit more. Okay, so that's interesting. Good to know. With the fact that they are a white pencil, and most white pencils are very opaque. They're, or not opaque, they're very translucent. That's the word I'm looking for. So let's do a couple of color comparisons here. So I've got a nice bright yellow here, so let's grab our lemon yellow and we'll take a look and see. I think those are fairly close in color. As you can see, this one here does have a much bigger core than this one here. The wood is quite a bit different. Now we're going to just go over here and we'll lay down some colors. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm just going to bring it out so that, oh, there we go, so that we can blend into this one. There's 1, 2, that's weird. And I think I broke the core on this one. So this one here, believe it or not, even though it's a harder pencil, does feel like it's laying down a little bit smoother than this one here. Which is just weird. Now I'm just going to blend them together. So they do blend together quite nicely. So as you can see, this one here is darker than this one here, but I was able to bring them both together and get a good graduation. So that's kind of cool. So let's try that with another color. So the yellow definitely does it well. So let's try with an orange. And we'll try with a red orange and a orange orange so that we can see the graduation. So the red orange that I used earlier is right here. So that's pretty close to the same color between this one and this one. This one here is lighter. So we're going to use the lighter one so that we can see that graduation. So let's put down the light first. So this is the design here. So there's 1, 2, and it's weird because I'm finding that colors that aren't normally scratchy are more scratchy than colors that are normally scratchy. So we're just going to go into that. There's 1, 2, 3. And then we'll add this one. Just going to gradually add a little more and a little more until that's blended together. So as you can see, it's also just blending right in. So I do believe that these would work very well together. The student grade does have more colors, so it does give you that opportunity to work different colors in. So I think they do actually blend together quite nicely. Now, this one here is a little bit darker than this one over here. Now let's do a smudge test. See if it smudges. So they do smudge. Both sets smudge. But the artist grade does smudge a little bit more. So be careful rubbing your arm on it and stuff like that. Let's try one more and we'll try a water test. So that's a smudge test. Now let's do our reds. So I think these two reds are close to the same color. I think they're very close to the same color. As I said, the student grade definitely has a very, very thin, a lot thinner core than the design series. So we're going to go here with our red. It's a thinner core and it's a harder core. So you're getting a lot more ability to get into those tighter spaces. And like I said, they are definitely a layering pencil. If I was to put a lot of pressure on this, of course, I'd get the color out of it that I want. However, if I do that, I'm just going to either break the pencil or dig it into the paper, which is not helpful. Okay, so it's starting to peel up some of the color, so I know that that's as much as that little swatch area is going to take. So I'm just going to dust that off. And then we're going to do the same thing down here with the design. This is a lot smooshier. It feels a lot softer. But it feels a little gritty. I don't know. That's just weird. I don't know if it's just the amount of pigment that's in it in comparison, or which it probably is, thinking now that because they are an artist grade, more than likely they have a lot more of the pigment in them, which would make them a little bit more gritty. So those are pretty close to the same color. So this one is student, this one here is artist. So we're going to take our water pen and make sure it's wet. But not too wet. And we're just going to move it. Ooh, that student grade definitely moves. So definitely a lot of movement in the student grade. So let's check the artist grade. Very little movement in the artist grade until you start really agitating it. So if you're just going to go 1-2 swipes over the artist grade, you're not going to get that movement. However, 1 or 2 swipes over the student grade and you're going to get a huge amount of movement. So absolutely the same with the smudge test. The areas that the student grade is in is moving a lot more. So the orange seemed to move quite a bit. So I know that this one is the student, this one here is the artist. And as you can see, the student moves, but the artist not so much. Would help if I was on the screen. So there we have it. They do move with water. The artist set not nearly as much as the student set, but absolutely they will move with water. So be careful when you're using liquid media with them so that you're not getting frustrated because it has washed away all of your pencil. Okay, guys, so what we've decided and we've come to the conclusion of today is that the student grade Bruynzeel do work well with the Bruynzeel Studio grade. This is supposed to be the artist grade of these pencils, and they do come in a wonderful little 48 set that has little drawers that go into a little case thing that I've got up on my shelf here. They are beautiful colors, absolutely fantastic colors. I'm having a hard time blending them together today for some reason. I don't know if it's because of the cardstock that I'm using or if it's something to do with the pencils. I don't remember having issues blending them before, but on this cardstock, where did I put it? I'm losing everything today. On this cardstock here, as you can tell, it had a really hard time blending those colors together. As you can see with all the other ones, all of those were able to blend that blue and that purple together. And this had a really hard time doing that. And I don't know why. So I can't answer the question of why did it do that. I don't know. And I will play with them a little bit more and see if, like I said, if it's just the paper that I'm using or if it's something to do with the pencils or anything like that. Now, this is not a review video. This is just showing you different things that I have in my collection that I haven't used in a while. The main object of this video was to show you the difference between this and the student grade Bruynzeels that I showed yesterday. Now, after completing this, even though the design set has a much brighter coloring, I found that the Bruynzeel student grade blended together a lot better. I don't know why. Um, Typically, you would find that the artist grade are going to be smoother, are going to blend, are going to be higher pigmented. Um, they were a little bit smoother. They are a lot more pigmented. They have a lot more color come out of them, but they didn't blend very well. Even with a blending pencil or themselves, they didn't blend together well, which is, a little strange to me. But um, once I took a couple of different blending pencils, like this area here where all the orange is, once I colored out and gave it that feathered look, I was able to blend that out a little bit more. I think it's all dependent on how hard you are pressing and how hard you're pressing for the next level of color. So when I'm covering up a color like I did here with the orange over the peach, depending upon how much tooth I've taken up, I guess is dependent upon whether or not it's going to blend out or not. I'm not sure. Um, that's the only thing I can think of why it wouldn't just blend together. But I will play with them a little more. Like I said, I've only had this set for a little while, and I haven't used them a whole lot because I was having difficulty sharpening them with a hand sharpener. So now that I have the crank sharpeners, I shouldn't have as many difficulties sharpening them, and I will play with them a little bit more. I'm also going to test them on different levels of paper, whether it be coloring book paper or artist grade cardstock, smoother cardstock, toothier cardstock, that sort of thing, and see if maybe it's just the fact that this cardstock is too smooth. Yeah, so other than that, guys, of course, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope that I have at least entertained. Today we also got a little bit of happy mail, which is always fun. And I am so glad that I was able to open that and share it with you when it came in. This is the Animal Kingdom coloring book by Fabrica Fantasy. It has been out for a little while, but this is the physical copy. And I will do a complete flip through and talk to you about the paper as well as the artwork in that book. Yeah, so I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Of course, I will be back on Saturday for our Saturday Color and Chat, where we will continue with the picture out of Nature's Magic with the 520 Bruynzeel colored pencils. Thank you all very much for watching. You have a fantastic day. Remember to relax, color, and stay safe. All right, guys, bye bye for now.